Hey guys, it's Jeb here, and in today's video, New Zealand gives green light for cryptocurrency income and salary payments. In what is a very big win for the cryptocurrency market, starting on September 1st, employers in New Zealand will be able to pay their workers salaries in cryptocurrency. This is a pretty big win for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency sector in New Zealand because one of the first things that we have to do to really start driving mass adoption is to have people being paid in Bitcoin. So if people are being paid in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, then they're going to go and spend that cryptocurrency. This is a really big first step. I'm really happy to see news like this, and we'll be diving onto this later in today's video. But also in today's video, guys, we're going to be discussing the very simple argument for why Bitcoin could easily surpass $20,000 in the 140 days that are left in this year. This year is quickly coming to a close, guys. It's gone by so quickly. But in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly why Bitcoin very well may be trading at $22,000, $25,000, $30,000 before this year closes. So guys, if you do enjoy today's video, I want you to do a couple of things. Make sure you smash that like button. Hitting those likes helps with the video ranking in the YouTube algorithm so that more people can see the videos, brings more exposure to the channel and also to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So it would be very much appreciated if you did that. And also, if you're new here, make sure you smash that subscribe button. It's the little red button below the video, and join the notification squad so you'll be updated every single time a new video or live stream goes out. But anyway, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Why is it so simple to argue that Bitcoin is going to go to or beyond $20,000? In this video, I'm going to be presenting to you an argument for why that is. I want to make very clear at the outset of the video, this isn't necessarily my opinion. We'll be getting into my opinion of this argument later on. This is simply one position that is not necessarily mine. Now, with that said, how can Bitcoin so easily go to $20,000 by the end of the year? Well, there's a lot of things we have to dive into, but one of the most simple ways that Bitcoin can go to $20,000 by the end of the year, one of the most simple reasons, is simply by looking at what Bitcoin has already done this year. Ever since the beginning of this rally back in February, all the way up through now, Bitcoin has rallied 250% in the span of 186 days. Let's go ahead and see how much Bitcoin would have to rally from here until the end of the year, and what we find is that Bitcoin only has to rally 74% in the next 140 odd days to reach $20,000. So in essence, Bitcoin only needs to perform about 35 to 40% as well as it has for the entirety of this year, including the last month and a half of pullback, to even go to $20,000. If Bitcoin were to mirror what it's already done, it should go far beyond $20,000. But guys, that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's only the very beginning of the arguments that we can look into. There are many other things that we can look into. One of them has to do with this news right here, guys. This is just one example of literally hundreds that I brought up on the channel this year, and many more that have happened this year. Those are bullish developments in the fundamentals of the cryptocurrency space. Think about everything that's coming this year. There might be a Bitcoin ETF later on this year. There hasn't been a lot of news about that, but that may happen before the year is over. Bakkt is going to be launching relatively soon if all goes according to plan. TD Ameritrade is working on its own exchange. Bitcoin's development is moving along as quickly as ever. The Lightning Network is doing really well. We haven't talked about that in a long time, but it's doing relatively well. A lot of people are starting to take Bitcoin more seriously. I mean, the most powerful person on the face of the planet, Donald Trump, tweeted about Bitcoin just a month and a half ago. Bitcoin is getting widespread adoption. It's getting widespread recognition. People are starting to understand and care about this market. And guys, I also want to point something out. That is that stocks aren't doing very well. The stock market is doing okay, but ever since about the beginning of 2018, it's been having a lot of corrections. It has not been moving to the upside quite as much as we would have liked. You can see we're under a downtrend right here on the S&P 500 ETF. There are all kinds of talks about a recession coming in the next couple of years. There's talks about the real estate market crashing, things going on with college student loan debt, things going on with credit card debt, consumer debt. There's all kinds of problems in the economy right now. People are concerned about recessions. I don't necessarily subscribe to the doomsday belief that we're going to have the biggest recession in the history of the economy coming in the next couple of years. But that all being said, there are early warning signs that there could be some kind of correction in markets, or even something to the effect of a new bear market starting in stocks, causing a global recession that could cause a multi-trillion-dollar economic impact that could move people from investing in things like stock markets and bonds and real estate markets into things like Bitcoin. We haven't seen what Bitcoin will do during a recession, but should more economic downturn come later on in this year, there's a very good chance that a large amount of money could come pouring into Bitcoin. I've shown you guys this website twice, once about a year and a half ago, and I showed you this website again about 6 months ago. If I can find that video, I will have it linked in the top right, but I'll be honest, I probably won't be able to. But on this website, which will be linked in the description, you can see a rough visualization of how large the markets of cryptocurrency are versus other markets. We can see here some of the largest companies on the planet: Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Alphabet, Microsoft, Berkshire Hathaway, which is in real estate. These companies are worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Bitcoin is only worth like $200 billion, and the total market's only worth $300 billion. There are probably a dozen or 24 companies in the world, single individual companies and corporations that are larger than all of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and a lot of these other cryptocurrencies are aiming to be a global currency that are going to revolutionize finance and banking across the world. with billions of people using them. So if that were to come to pass, we would expect a much larger rally in Bitcoin. If we just kind of scroll down here, you can see this is all visualized. One of these squares is $100 billion. Look at how large some of these things is. The Fed balance sheet. There you go. California's GDP. There you go. Currency. There you go. Gold. Stocks. Global money supply. Global debt. This is well into the hundreds of trillions of dollars. Global real estate markets. These are gigantic. Derivatives markets could be over $1 quadrillion in value. You think that's not a bubble? It definitely is. The point is here, guys, is as Bitcoin starts to become more and more widespread, more well adopted, as we continue to see more smaller news stories like this coming out and bigger news stories like Bakkt, we're going to see more money flow into the cryptocurrency space, and it's going to continue for the next decade or more, in my humble opinion. And the reason why I'm bringing all of that longer term stuff up on what I would consider to be a somewhat shorter term video talking about the next 4 months is because we've already seen that start to take place. I think a good percentage of this rally is coming from people who were already in the market, and we're going to need to start seeing some new faces in the market, but I think we're already on track for a lot of those new faces to come in before the year is over. So as Bitcoin continues to grow and Bitcoin continues to become adopted and become more well received and respected on the global stage, that should inevitably continue to drive the price further to the upside, perhaps above $20,000 before the year is over. So guys, that's the argument. So let's go ahead and get into what I think of the argument. I personally believe that this is probably one of the more likely scenarios that Bitcoin is going to have play out, Bitcoin moving to above $20,000 before the end of the year or before the end of Q1 2020. Guys, by the way, I want to mention, even before Bitcoin had this little rally, this little kickoff rally down here, and Bitcoin was still in the bottom of the accumulation phase, I was calling for $20,000 Bitcoin before Q1 of 2020. That's why this line is here. This line has been here for nearly a year on the channel because I've been expecting a $20,000 Bitcoin before the end of Q1 2020. I was saying that back in 2018 because that's where my prediction has been, and it looks like it's coming true. I still think that that's going to happen, but before 2020, we'll have to see. One of the counter arguments to what I was just mentioning is this. Even though Bitcoin looks quite bullish, and even though Bitcoin has traded up here for quite some time, and even though it looks like Bitcoin should have a bullish breakout here in the next couple of days, if it's going to happen, because we haven't rejected yet, that is bullish. Even with all of that in mind, should Bitcoin reject here and move to the downside, this is a descending triangle pattern. And descending triangle patterns oftentimes break bearish, even if you went into them bullish. This is a pennant pattern. It's a very long-term pennant pattern, which you would expect to break to the upside. But since it's a descending triangle pattern, that really kind of lowers the 60, 40, 70, 30% likelihood of Bitcoin breaking to the upside down to more like a 50-50. And it kind of cancels out the idea of this being a bull flag or a bull pennant on the longer-term time frames. And what that means is because of the structure of this consolidation pattern, it is very possible that Bitcoin breaks below $9,000 and moves further to the downside. If that happens, it's almost certain that we will not see a $20,000 Bitcoin before the end of 2020. So we'll have to see how this consolidation pattern plays out. We'll have to see how this longer-term descending triangle pattern plays out. But if I have anything to say about it, guys, I think Bitcoin is going to do well for the rest of this year. But that's why I've been watching the short-term TA on this market so closely lately, is because the way that Bitcoin moves here over the next week or two is really going to determine where Bitcoin will be at the end of this year. Will it be at $30,000, $20,000, $10,000, $5,000? Where is it going to be? Those are the questions we're trying to answer here. So guys, what I want you to do is tell me in the comment section down below and in the poll in the top right up here, what do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin? Are you bullish on Bitcoin and you think Bitcoin's going to move to the upside? Or are you bearish on Bitcoin and you think it's going to break to the downside? Essentially what I'm asking is, do you think Bitcoin is going to rally up to and above $20,000? Or do you think Bitcoin's going to be trading sideways up through the end of the year, or just kind of actually have a pullback before the end of the year and trade at maybe $8,000, $9,000 before the year is over? Answer that in the poll in the top right. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and move on to some news, because New Zealand has given the green light for cryptocurrency income and salary payments. I'm really happy to see a news story like this. You guys know that I've been trying to bring you a lot of these little smaller news stories that are kind of just being skipped over. People aren't really talking about them a whole lot, but there's so many of them that we need to talk about these. I want you guys to understand all the micro developments that are going on in Bitcoin. When you lay a foundation, you have to pour a lot of different loads of concrete into the foundation. You don't just kind of go, boom, there's a foundation. You don't just bring the foundation in on the back of a truck. You have to keep pouring the foundation. You pour in concrete and cement here. You pour it in, pour it in, pour it in. You got the rebar in there. You have to do it in sections. It doesn't all get done in one day. You have to pour a little bit in now, a little bit later, a little bit later. You have to smooth it all out, make sure that it doesn't dry too quickly. There's a lot of things you have to do when you're laying a foundation. And the same thing is true for cryptocurrency markets. There's a lot of things that go into it. We need to have a proper tax structure. We need to have a proper regulatory structure. We need to have a framework in business so that businesses can use Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We need payment gateways and solutions like Stripe that can help to automate some of the things that happen in Bitcoin with the payments. There is a lot of foundation that has been laid for Bitcoin taking off and taking over the global finance market. And there's there's a lot that needs to be done as well. And stuff like this are just one more little drop of cement that's going into that foundation and helping cryptocurrencies to start getting off the ground so we can start building the framework for Bitcoin to take over global finances. And I think we're getting really close to being done with that foundation, guys, because we're seeing it be built every single day. And it's news stories like these that I keep bringing you guys that I'm so excited about. One thing I want to point out that's kind of funny is that this is talking about New Zealand, and this picture says Berlin right there. But this is just a stock photo they took, of course. Anyway, guys, New Zealand has published a ruling by its tax authorities that allows paying workers' salaries with cryptocurrency. The publication also includes specific requirements regarding this issue. Regulation for the cryptocurrency sector has been an uphill battle in many jurisdictions, as it seems there have been a lot of dissenting opinions about how exactly it should be handled, permitted. However, in a few countries as well, efforts to officially recognize cryptocurrency as a legal tender are beginning to pay off, which is exactly what I was talking about. We need to see those developments continue to come. Now, according to information published by New Zealand's tax regulators, cryptocurrency will be legalized and employees begin to receive salaries in digital currency. The ruling is expected to begin officially on the 1st of September. And I'm sure future generations in New Zealand will say, remember the 1st of September, for it was the day that Bitcoin became legal tender. Yes, I'm very proud of myself. I think I'm hilarious. Okay, let's move on. New Zealand's Inland Revenue Department recently released a tax information bulletin on Wednesday, the 7th of August. It clearly states specifics about the new ruling under 91D of its Tax Administration Act, blah, 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 blah. The point is, you can now pay your employees in cryptocurrency, and this is one step forward in New Zealand's economy to legally recognizing Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a form of legal tender. It can be used here, there, and everywhere. It's one of those developments that we need to talk about. It's one of those developments that's very important, but it's also not just massive, crazy news that everybody's gonna be talking about, so I want to bring it up here. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I want to discuss in this article. I want to bring you another one of those news stories. It's just one of those small little tidbits that's gonna help us to push Bitcoin to where it belongs. It's just one nail in the house that we're trying to construct, guys. It's just one drop of cement in the foundation we're trying to lay. I'm really excited about the future of Bitcoin. I'm really excited about what's gonna happen here over the next several years in Bitcoin and in the next last months of this year. I'm very interested to see where Bitcoin will wind up at the end of 2020. You guys know one of the things I really love about Bitcoin is just watching the market and being able to spectate it, because I mean, I can just sit back here with a bag of popcorn because I'm not planning on selling my Bitcoin anytime soon, and I set my trades up for maximum profitability and the least amount of risk. So I'm not really ever concerned about my investments in Bitcoin, and you guys know my philosophy. As soon as I put a dime into Bitcoin, it's like I lit it on fire and I'm never gonna see that money again. So I can lean back with all my Bitcoin and just kind of watch and see what happens and spectate, and it's really fun. It's the best spectator sport. It's better than football. I'm gonna piss some people off here. It's better than football, better than soccer, basketball, racing, horse racing. I don't care. Watching Bitcoin is extremely fun. Tell me in the comment section down below if you agree with that sentiment. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. I have a lot of work to get to this week, and there's a lot of changes coming to the channel. One of them being that we're now going to be doing 6 live streams a week. Oh boy, that's going to be a large commitment. That is a large commitment through the end of this year. I'm not committing to that on into 2020 because that is going to take a lot of my time and is going right in my free time slot, but I'm going to be committing to that. So at 7 p.m. tonight, there will be a live stream somewhere around that time. Look forward to that. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be updated when that does happen. I hope to see you guys there. But guys, before we do wrap the video up, I do want to say one more thing about yesterday's video. I want to thank you guys for the amazing positive response that we had on that video. I was really hoping that something like that would happen, but I wasn't convinced that it was going to. Thank you guys for your outpouring of support for the person that we were talking about, and thank you for your kind words and the sentiment that a lot of you guys are sharing with me about how Bitcoin needs to be a space of compassion for people who have had major losses happen. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to be soft, and I'm not telling everybody to be a cupcake, but I am saying that in states of mind that some of these people get into is not the time to be berating them. It's the time to be trying to comfort them and help them and come together as a community so that we can build ourselves up even faster and push Bitcoin to new heights. So guys, if you didn't watch yesterday's video, please, when you get a chance, go watch that video. It's a topic that I take very seriously. I highly encourage you to check it out. It is a depressing topic, but it's a topic that needs to be discussed because it does affect the cryptocurrency space and no one talks about it. So check that video out. That'll be linked here on the end screen. But anyway, guys, I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching as always. I do also want to thank you for smashing that like button because I know as a loyal follower, you did already do that. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. But anyway, guys, like I said, that will be doing it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.